Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. This is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a tax collector. Do you have any idea what a tax collector does? Well, neither do I. But let's find out. Let me introduce our next guest. The one, the only, the amazing CJ Shaw.
How's it going, man? Thank you for having me on this show.
No problem. Okay, so you as a tax collector. So for our listeners that have no idea what that means, can you explain to us?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm not the tax collector. I work for the tax collector. The Orange County tax collector is Mr. Scott Randolph. What I am is a tax specialist. What we do is basically collect taxes for property taxes, business taxes, and even tangible taxes. Tangible taxes is a little confusing. It's more of for equipment used to run a business. So yeah, it's a pretty cool job. You know, I enjoy it.
Cool.
There's a lot involved in being working for the tax collector.
Interesting. So, do you knock on people's doors or do they come to you?
No, we don't. So they come to our office and they come to pay their taxes to us. Thank God. We don't have to be knocking on people's doors and begging for their taxes.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. But when did you know that this was a profession for you? I mean, did you play a lot of Monopoly?
Actually, Monopoly was one of my favorite games, but that's not what got me interested in being working for the tax collector. It was just one of those situations where I moved to a new city, looking for a new job, and the tax collectors was available for me to move into a new career path. Yeah.
Well, does it take a lot of training to do this job?
So there is training, and it's internal training. So we are helping each other out. There's a lot of professionals that have been there for a few years that know the job a lot more than people like me who have been there for 5 years. So I don't consider myself a beginner, but I'm kind of in the middle. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are the types of tasks that you have to do every day?
Well, it's kind of simple. We collect property taxes and we collect business taxes and the tangible taxes. We send the bills out in November for property taxes and tangible taxes. We send the bills out in July for business taxes. The bills are supposed to go to the designated mailing addresses, and then as long as the taxpayer is aware of those taxes, they just mail the taxes back to us.
Huh. Yep. Now, why November? So that the president gets new money if it's an election year?
That's funny. So November is the time that taxes are just due. It's every year that everybody gets a 4% discount for paying their taxes in November. But no, it has absolutely nothing to do with presidential elections. I know we have one coming up.
I was gonna say. Now, what's the best part about being a tax specialist?
The best part of being a tax specialist, I guess, is that I can work with customers face-to-face, or we can work with customers over the phone. It's a good experience because there's a lot of people that just need that extra push. They need some help. They need to have their taxes explained a little bit more so they don't get too confused on what they're paying for.
I see. Now, here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
And we're back here talking with CJ Shaw, and he's a tax specialist. Now, what's the most misunderstood part about being a tax collector?
So that's a good question. If you see something in front of you, there's always something more in the back that you're not really aware of. Our work that we do in the back is a little more heavy duty than what you just see when you walk into a tax collector's office and pay your taxes. We're doing a lot of mail. We're taking care of a lot of inner office work. So when it comes to taking care of your taxes, it's not just people walking in. We're taking care of taxes inside of our own office as well.
Okay. Now, can you tell me what elements makes for a good tax specialist?
What good elements? Well, be at work on time. Show up with a good attitude. Just be there for your clerks and be helpful when needed. That's what I would say.
Okay. Now, what's the biggest challenge facing tax collection today?
Probably the economy, because the amount of money that it costs for taxes is probably getting a little higher than expected. So, I get it. The economy is boosting higher.
Yeah.
We have to find a way to push through it.
Now, you're still taking classes, I hear, from your bio. And, well, what classes are they, and why do they impact your job?
That's a good question. So I'm taking online classes at Old Dominion University. I'm working on a finance degree. There are a lot of ins and outs when it comes to finances for taxes. We actually have a finance department. So this is something that I want to learn to maybe move up in my career. It's definitely something that I'm very proud of, working towards a degree at 37.
Okay, now, my dad and my mom say taxes suck. Well, why do we have taxes in the first place?
That's a good question. I did a little research in Google to see where taxes first came, and so it kind of started, I guess, with the Egyptians. And I think there was a little more interesting facts about like the King Henry days. So taxes was something that just had to be paid to the rich, and it was something that was collected for years to come, and it's still something that's being done to this day.
I see. Well, what's the craziest thing that's happened while you were doing your passion?
The craziest thing for working for the tax collectors, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, you could say that.
Working with a lot of customers. We're working with a lot of personalities. That's one thing I think is interesting, because when you're working with different customers and different personalities, you have to kind of follow along with how you communicate with them.
Okay, well, if someone wants to become a tax collector, what should they work towards to make it easier for your job?
Follow the rules, focus on the task at hand. Don't be somebody who follows the rules to the book. Be flexible, because if you're not flexible, then you're not going to have happy customers. I know
want happy customers, trust me. You're going to want happy customers.
Absolutely, and especially if you're dealing with taxes.
Yeah, because no one wants to pay taxes. It's the truth.
No, I believe
But
it.
I hear that you work at a barber shop. Well, what do you do there?
Well, no, I don't work at a barbershop. So I sing barbershop. Yeah, so it's an a cappella group of men. It could be a quartet or it can be a chorus. And it's just guys who enjoy singing together. We sing like old Tommy barbershop songs. It's a lot of fun. I've been doing it since high school. So
Wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I just loved it. They had a lot of high school programs for people that wanted to just join the society. The way I started the barbershop, I was in a school play called The Music Man. And I think a lot of people should know what The Music Man is. It's a very popular movie, and I was part of the quartet. And I stood in front of a huge audience. Every day, and the audience just loved it. It was great. It was amazing.
Well, you're gonna give some bars.
Okay, yeah. So. My wild Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows. You may search everywhere, but none can compare with my wild Irish rose.
Wow.
Hey, there you go.
That's some good singing. Well, who can you say was the person that helped drive your passion the most?
There was a lady that worked there for a few years. I'd say probably about 16, 17, maybe 18 years. And she, her name is Barbara. She's worked for the tax collector's office forever. That's a bad word to use. I don't want to say forever. She's worked there for some years, and she was one person that I learned so much from when it came to learning how the job works. If you trust somebody that much that you can learn from, it's good to keep communication with somebody like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Barbara.
Yeah.
Well, what's the best advice you've ever received? And who gave you that advice?
The best advice. Roll with the punches. Just live life. Who gave it to me? I don't know. A lot of people. There was a gentleman that his name was Don Claus. He was my vocal coach, and he was also kind of like a life coach. And he was the one that got me involved in joining the Navy. We'll talk about that later.
Well, what was the very first job that you ever had?
My very first job, I worked at Winn-Dixie. I was a bag boy and a cashier. I was in high school, and I was just looking for something to do. I was looking for money, yeah.
Well, was there anything you learned from that job that helped you be a better tax collector?
From working from Winn-Dixie to that, absolutely not. I mean, you're what are you doing? You're bagging groceries for people. You're putting stuff on a shelf. When you're at a tax collector's office, you're sitting behind a desk, just collecting.
Cashier does kind of give some customer service.
I'll go with you on that. Okay, that works for me.
Okay, well, what message do you want to tell children all over the world with doing the work that you do?
Let's see. I want to tell children to accept world peace. No, I want to tell the children that I want them to go on with a career that they love, that they have a passion for. Because if you don't love your career, you're going to it's going to be a job. It won't be a career.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills. And we're back here talking with CJ Shaw. And, well, he's a tax collector that was in the Navy. Thank you for your service.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So what inspired you to be in the Navy?
I think I mentioned earlier I had a friend of mine. His name is Don Claus, and I'll tell you the whole story on how that turned out. So I was young, didn't really have a plan on where I wanted to do or where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do, and so my friend says we're gonna call a Navy recruiter. And I was like, oh, a Navy recruiter. I don't know. I'm nervous. Should I, what should I do? So he goes ahead and dials the phone and calls the Navy recruiter. And he says, I got a young man who wants to join the Navy. And I was like, wow, like that quick. He didn't even ask me. He just got me. I got the Navy recruiter on the phone. He's like, he wants me to talk to him. So I'm like, okay, I'll bite the bullet. I got the phone, and I said, hello? And then so the recruiter says, hi, we heard you're interested in joining the Navy. And I said, well, it was definitely considered. And he says, the recruiter tells me, well, we have an office. We want to meet you here at a certain time. We'll give you all the paperwork. We'll tell you all the stuff that you need to get involved. And I was actually excited, so I'm glad that Don Claus called the Navy recruiter for me, and I went ahead and took my trip to the office and got it all taken care of. After that, I thank him every day for letting me do something with my life, like just serving my country. Get out of here.
So, did you ever get to be in the battlefield?
No, I was not in the battlefield. I was a cook. So I was, I had to feed the people that were going in the battlefield. No, no, I never got involved with battlefield anything. I fed a lot of people on an aircraft carrier. There's like over 5,000 sailors on an aircraft carrier, so you have to.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you got to feed all these sailors.
MREs.
Yeah, and then there's some times that we pick up Marines, and we got to feed the Marines when we're taking them on base. So that's one thing I noticed about working for an aircraft carrier.
You're gonna have to go really, really fast.
Well, we got to carry the Marines, to their locations. So
do you cook on the aircraft?
we did, yeah. The aircraft
really?
carrier has its own kitchen. So yeah, it was.
That's interesting.
If you work on an aircraft carrier, you basically live on an aircraft carrier. It's your home. You sleep there, you eat there.
Wow.
The only time you can leave the aircraft carrier is when you're on land.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of times that we're touring around for months and we just have to eat the food on a ship. We can only, our surroundings are just what's on that ship. So just imagine being away from land for months at a time, and the only thing you get to see is just that ship and your crew.
Plain old cabbage. That was the only thing that came to my mind.
Oh gosh.
Well, do you think kids should get into the Navy?
Not kids.
On the battlefield.
Well, the thing is, if you want to join the Navy, you do have to be 18 or older. So I think kids should be spoken to about it.
Air Force.
Sure. They should be spoken to to their parents. So when in the future comes, when they turn 18, they can decide to go into the Navy, which I think is your next plan. No, I'm kidding.
I'm only 13. I got 5 years to do that.
There you go. We got 5 more to go.
Okay. Well, how does being in the Navy make the world a better place? Other than saving our country.
Being in the Navy is a way to serve your country, as you just said. I mean, it's kind of it's a way to build character. If you join the Navy, then you've served your country and made a good, honorable sailor of yourself.
Okay. Now, I met you at the DMV when I was getting my state ID.
Uh-huh.
Well, what was the coolest thing that happened at the DMV?
Well, what the coolest thing at the DMV? Probably getting out of the DMV as fast as possible. So, I mean, the DMV is a great place to get everything done when it comes to your cars and vehicles and tags. But yeah, I love the fact that the Orange County Tax Collector's DMV department takes care of their customers quickly and efficiently.
Bright and early.
Hey, yeah, sure. And the Orange County Tax Collectors makes appointments, and they do walk-ins. So, you know, as long as you get in and get out and get your stuff done, you know, it's a good experience.
If you could go back to your 13-year-old self and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Probably just have a plan for a career, because there's always a way that you can better yourself by having a plan of what you want to do in your future life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made? How did it change you as a person?
The biggest mistake. Wow. Well, it's hard to go back to some bad times and then try to change them, but probably that I don't want to make this sound bad, but if I moved to Orlando without a plan, and since I did move to Orlando, I used my career that I have now to make a better person of me. So it's one of those situations where I didn't really plan on doing what I wanted to do, but now that I am working for the tax collectors, I love the fact that I've been doing it and still doing a better job of it every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
Sing barbershop. Didn't you just hear me sing?
I did.
Well, you know, and then of course there's plenty of more stuff that I do. I mean, I like to play pool. I like to
like billiards?
The billiards. Yeah. You play billiards. Okay, yeah.
Say pool. What pool games?
Yeah, I mean, I like swimming too.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of pool. I like to play video games.
Well, what's your favorite one?
Well, that's a good question. So I'm a big Xbox guy and PlayStation. And I've played
PC?
and I've played Pokemon Go on my phone.
Oh.
So,
Good old
but
days.
yeah, you know, and I still play the game. It's fun, you know. So yeah, if you want to talk about games, yeah, I got a few that I play. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite book to read?
Interesting. I had a friend of mine from work give me a few books about business and the psychological thinking of how to talk with one another, like your own coworkers. And it's really interesting how you have to communicate with your coworkers. You have to have a good communication, but you also have to be a little sympathetic with the way people interact with you. So just being down to business and just, you know, doing everything by the books is not always the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
You have to be, I think I mentioned earlier, you got to be flexible, you know, and if you're flexible, you can get a lot of work done.
Now, can you tell me that one story? You know, remember, this is a kid's show. But that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on. You tell me.
So there is one thing that I can think of. So when I was performing with my barbershop crew, there was a time that I was standing in front of the mic and I totally lost my breath control, and it just messed up the entire singing. And it's not something that I'm used to because I've practiced and practiced and practiced, and I was so ready to go up there on stage and do my number. And as soon as I lost my breath control, the whole number just went to pieces.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
Ouch. Was there anything that you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
Can't think of anything much. You kind of covered a majority of my life. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners to follow you?
So I do have Instagram. I have Twitter. So yeah, my Instagram is I think it's CJ Shaw 1987, and I think my Twitter is the same, CJ Shaw 1987. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Well, you didn't ask me if I had any questions for you.
Well, do you have any questions for me?
Well, yeah. So I'm kind of curious. You're really excited about video games. So, what was the very first video game that you ever played?
My first ever video game was Halo.
Okay.
The explanation behind it is my dad's an esports gamer, old ex-esports gamer, and he was really good at the game. And I was like very young, I was 2, and I just started somewhat playing. I was trying to get into the rhythm of it, but I was like killing everyone, back and forth. We were playing free-for-all matches against, we had a LAN parties all the time. We had like 100 computers in one house, so power bill was crazy, but we had all these people in one match, and we just were playing against each other. My dad was always win every time, thousands of kills and stuff, and then no one could hit him because he was just that good until one person got him, and he got him again and again and again. Same person. That person was me. Because I figured out the game and sniping mechanics. I was across the map.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I figured that.
Interesting. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure. Why not?
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And thank you, CJ, for helping me with Math Corners.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. My dad is always going to find new problems for me to solve. And today, we're going to talk about taxes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, goodness. Well, a person's gross paycheck for working at their job and what they get at the end of the week was $600. Now, what's their tax money? And that they need to pay for the week if the taxes were $1 per $15 in their paycheck.
That's an interesting question. So how are you going to get the answer to that?
Okay, well, first is a world problem because people do have to figure out how much taxes people need to pay. But to solve this issue, you first have to figure out the total dollars divided by 15, the multiples of 15 that there are in 600, because the tax is $1 per $15 in the paycheck. So 600 divided by 15 is 40. Now we know there's 40 groups of 15. That's $40 in taxes because it's 40 times 1, and that makes $40. And then the taxes a person needs to pay is 40 groups of 50, so it's about $40 that they need to pay in taxes. So in order to get what they get, it's about $560 because 600 minus 40 is $560. So CJ, did you ever get problems with tons of taxes?
Problems? The only problems we ever had is people not paying their taxes. Yeah. So.
Then do you bust down their doors?
No. We don't do that. No. So, but yeah, that problem gets solved very quickly because all they got to do is bring their bills and their checks, and they get their taxes paid. Yeah.
Now, my teacher said that I would use math every day. Now, what's the most common way that you use math in your work besides counting money?
Well, I guess my finance degree, like we were talking about earlier, because when you're working on a finance degree, you're doing a lot of math, you're doing a lot of accounting, you're doing a lot of spreadsheets and keeping money organized. So yeah, it still has to do with money, but it's a lot of accounting stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, CJ, for your help with Math Corners.
Absolutely.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. as you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of the lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're going to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right, even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. So this week I saw some kids at the bowling alley, and they were playing a very serious game. At one point, one of the kids' ball went into the gutter and came back out and hit a pin. He stopped all playing and called for someone from the desk to fix the scores. None of the other kids cared and just said, leave it alone, but he was insistent. He said that he did not want to earn the extra pin and did not want to have extra points that he did not earn. Now that is being honest and fair and ensuring the score was truthful, even though it stopped the game and bothered the other players. This is an excellent example of integrity, and I'm very proud of that kid. I'm not sure who you are, but I'm still very proud of you. So, CJ, do you see or use integrity at all this week?
Yeah, we have to be fair Monday through Friday. We have to be fair 365 days of the week or the year. I don't even know my days and weeks anymore. Sorry. It's So it's definitely something that has to be instilled in all of us every time we are with one another.
Well, of all of the Heart of Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most? And they again are leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability.
Probably leadership follows more on what I focus on, because we need good leadership to get work done properly. And that's something that I've learned through my studies, is that if you have a good leader, the leader will guide you in the right direction. So let's all learn how to be good leaders so we can follow our paths that we choose.
Mm-hmm. And we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing CJ Shaw for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about being a tax specialist and working in the Navy.
I really do appreciate that. I've loved being on this show. This is amazing, and I would love to do it again.
You're welcome. Now, do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. I believe I was also on Twitter. So it's just CJ Shaw 1987. You'll find me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KINT 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. Now, please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Now, CJ, are you subscribed yet?
I am. I subscribed a long time ago.
Oh, and be sure to leave me a comment and tell me if you want to be a tax specialist. Also, be sure to what's next on the... Wait a second. You know what? How about you singing us out for us?
Oh, well, why not? Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire.
That's a wrap. Oh my gosh, that was good.
Yeah, thanks.